Sequence start. And we have a go for auto sequence start. Discovery's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions. Start, 2, 1, boost ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery.
Hi, welcome to the Launchpad. I'm your host, Harry Washington, and today we're very excited because for two reasons. First, for being in business for 5 years, and the second is our career choice event, which will occur on Saturday, October the 4th at Morgan State University. To learn more about that program, go to our website and also stay tuned to the program. But in addition to those things, this is our countdown to our career choice program. And today we're joined by Dr. Jose Jones, who is the founder of the National Association of Black Scuba Divers. Welcome to the show, Dr. Jones.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, what influenced you to want to become a scuba diver?
Well, I was always the kid that was down the river catching tadpoles, frogs, and I'm a native Washingtonian, so I was always down there catching every animal that was there. And I just, when I went into the military, I just sort of drafted toward anything they had aquatic, and they had things like combat swimming courses and things like that. So I actually learned to dive in the military. Okay. And then I came out, and nobody dove. And then finally Cousteau came on television and Mike Bridges with Sea Hunt. And everybody got interested in diving. See? Right. So people would come and say, well, you know, we'd like to learn how to dive. So we basically I started with 6 people in my front room, and we formed the Underwater Adventure Seekers Scuba Diving Club in Washington, D.C. And that's one of the oldest dive clubs in the world. And a lot of people are surprised to realize the African American dive club is some of the oldest dive clubs in the entire world. Excellent. So they celebrated their 50th anniversary back in 1959. They were organized in 1959, so they celebrated their 50th anniversary about 3 years ago. So they've been around a long time. But then what happened was we started getting a lot of calls from people all over the country, from divers, say, you know, we'd like to have a dive club, but we don't know how to form the dive club. So we decided we were going to form the National Association. So we started with 6. And formed Underwater Adventure Seekers. Underwater Adventure Seekers has trained over 2,000 divers. Whoa. And they have now 130 active divers, 50% female. And then we started forming dive clubs around the United States and abroad. So now we have about 30 dive clubs and nearly 3,000 members, including members individual members from Australia to Africa. And our newest club was formed last month in Mozambique.
Now, give our viewers an idea about your academic background, because you mentioned about the military experience, but you know, what colleges did you attend?
I got a master's degree in aquatic biology from Howard University, a PhD from Georgetown in marine biology, but I also was a Fulbright scholar, and I spent 2 years in Australia studying marine science, and I also went to Duke University on the National Science Foundation Fellowship. Excellent. And I didn't have to pay for any of this. That's why I always tell kids I couldn't afford that. I was an orphan kid. I couldn't afford that. So I usually tell kids, hey, you know, hang in there, because if you're smart and you work hard, somebody will see you. Somebody will see you. Somebody will recognize you. Somebody will do something for you. So I was told when I said, keep applying for the scholarships. Keep applying for the scholarship, and that's what I did. So I ended up being a Fulbright scholar.
Now, how did you learn about what gave you the push in terms of looking at scholarships? Or how did you find out about those scholarships? Was it
my high school teachers told me?
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I didn't know. You know, what does a high school student know about, you know, fellowships and scholarships? I didn't know. And then when I graduated from undergraduate school, they said, you know, you need to apply for a Fulbright scholarship. He said, you know, Fulbright scholarship and the Rhodes are the 2 highest scholarships in the world. So I said,
very true.
I said, you got nothing to lose. So I said, fine. So when I applied, they looked at it. She looked at the lady at college and said, I know more about you than you have on this paper. So you need to tell people what you can do. You don't assume that they know. So that was a very important lesson for me. And that's what I did. Now, so I was accepted as a student at the University of Queensland in Australia. So I went to Australia for 2 years to study.
In terms of wrapping up, how can parents and educators influence kids to pursue careers in oceanography, aquatic sciences, marine biology? What can be done?
You start off by not ducking the science courses. Take the science courses, take the math courses. It is a big, good profession. It's a profession that pays a fair amount of money. And you're not in the office all the time. You travel a lot. My dive club has been to 43 different countries. That's the DC club. So you get a chance to get out in the field, move around the world and see people and learn things. But the idea is that go to your counselors in school, find out what schools in your area, like Morgan State, for instance, that teach marine science.
Okay.
We have a club at Morgan State.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you find what schools in your area to teach marine science, go there and just talk to the professors. They'll be glad to sit down and talk. Or give us a ring, and you can see our number at the end of the segment.
Right.
Give us a ring, and I will personally talk to anybody who calls and let them know.
Gotcha.
Because I had people helping me. That's how I did it.
No problem. And with that being said, we'd like to thank our guest, Dr. Jones. Again, to learn about the National Association of Black Scuba Divers, visit their website, or also stay tuned to the end of the show to find out their information. Thank you, and we'll be back. Welcome back to the Launchpad. I'm your host, Harry Washington, and remember the show is sponsored by Pursuing a Dream Corporation, and the purpose of our show, our organization, is to influence students to seek degrees and careers in areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. And to that end, we have our next guest, which is Miss Bria McElroy, who is with the Women in Engineering program at the University of Maryland. Welcome to the show, Bria.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, how long has this program been in existence?
Keys to Empowering Youth has been running since 1996.
Okay. And what are the goals of Keys to Empowering?
The goals of Keys are to empower girls to think about their potential in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math, and primarily engineering for our purposes, and to just get them thinking about careers, studies, and build their confidence.
And give our viewers an example. What's the structure of your program?
For Keys to Empowering Youth, we hold that once each fall and each spring, and this year it'll be November 10th, and we run from 9 to 3.
Okay.
And it's lots of hands-on activities with the girls, and they also get to hear a keynote from a professional engineer.
Right. And most of your staff is comprised of what?
Most of the staff run the program, and then we also have volunteers who help sometimes from the community. And we also build in a lot of volunteer opportunities for our undergraduate students,
Okay.
So that they have the opportunity to work on their leadership skills and work with the girls hands-on.
So students also get that second aspect of it. We're working with students who attend the college,
Right.
as well as maybe professionals in the community as well.
Some role modeling so that they
Excellent.
can see, oh, there are women doing this, and
Right.
I can do that too.
And it's only open to women, am I correct?
Correct.
From
For this
what-
program, yes.
Right. For what ages?
Ages 11 to 13.
And now, in terms of, what are some of the possibilities of you expanding your program to maybe include high school students?
Well, we do actually have a couple of high school programs.
Okay.
The next one we have coming up is called our Women in Engineering Dream Conference.
Okay.
And that's open to any high school girl or boy,
Okay.
from the 9th to the 12th grade, and that's
Okay.
going to be held February 23rd.
Okay.
So registration is not open for that yet, but we will
Okay.
be putting out information.
Now, do students have to have a particular GPA to be part of your program?
No, we do have an application process,
Okay.
And it's a little more rigorous for some of our summer camp programs.
Okay.
So no particular GPA, we just really want to offer opportunity to every student.
Okay. And now, how can students and parents learn more about your program?
By visiting our website,
Okay.
or giving me a call. I'm happy to talk to anybody. And
Now, in terms of last words, what other information would you like viewers to know about your program?
just that we've been around since 1995, and we're really passionate about inspiring young women to go into STEM fields. And so if there are any questions about anything, students are wondering kind of what pathway to take or where to go in school, we are definitely open to talking to them and helping parents find opportunities on our campus and out in the community.
I guess another question, just for viewers, just for clarification, in terms of what kind of students do you typically get in your program?
We get all type of students, and we certainly, when it gets to the high school level, we're looking for a little bit more academic rigor.
Okay.
But the younger students, we just really want them to start thinking about possibilities, like I said, and also some of our programs for younger students are co-ed as well,
Okay.
and those are our summer programs.
Okay.
But we primarily focus on girls, but we also think it's really important to encourage boys
Okay.
to participate with the girls too.
Okay. So you do have co-ed programs?
We do. Keys to Empowering Youth is not.
Okay.
But Dream, we do have some young men show up for that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And what's typically turnout for your programs?
For Dream, or for Keys to Empowering Youth, it's smaller, pretty intimate. So we have about 45 students.
Okay.
For those. For Dream Conference, we have about 500 participants.
Oh.
So it's a big conference on campus, and we also invite parents and teachers to come.
Excellent. Excellent. Do you do any collaboration with schools? Any particular schools or?
No schools in particular.
Okay.
But we definitely reach out to schools, make school visits and things like that, and we'd be happy to do that.
Okay. We'd like to thank our guest, Ms. Bria Macro, who's Assistant Director of the program. As she stated, if to learn more about the program, visit us at the end of the show where you can find her information, and also visit them on the web to learn, to find out, get an application, as well as learn more about the program. Thank you, and we'll be back. Welcome back to the Launchpad. I'm your host again, Harry Washington, and again, this show is sponsored by Pursuing a Dream Corporation. Today, we're joined by Mr. Robert Ekman, President of the Rockville Science Center. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ekman.
Thank you for having me here.
Now, tell us a bit about the Rockville Science Center.
We're a relatively new organization. We formed up in Rockville. We have an office and have started up a number of programs in Rockville and in Montgomery County. We have our mission is to try to promote and maintain an interest in science and engineering throughout our community. We've been doing this now for a couple years, and we have a number of programs that we think are the kinds of programs that could not only be done in Montgomery County, but can be done all around the country.
Right. Now, give our viewers an idea, what type of programs and initiatives does the Rockville Science Center have? Well,
we do. We have a number of programs. The one that we're been going the longest is our Rockville Science Cafe.
Okay.
We have every month we have a scientist come in and talk to a group of people who gather at a restaurant. We've done several different restaurants. Right now we're at a barbecue restaurant in Rockville, and we gather there around 6 o'clock, and the scientist gives us a presentation and tells us about some topic. One of the recent topics we had just this week was about stink bugs.
Okay.
And we've had the previous one to that was chocolate and how that affects people. And usually the scientists that come in are experts in the field and have been in that field for a very long time.
Okay.
People come in, have dinner, have a drink, and listen to the scientists talk. They can ask them questions, and there's usually conversation. This has been a very successful program. We usually have 70 to 100 people in the program, in each of the programs.
Now, is the purpose of that program just to educate parents or community?
It's really, it's really to give an outlet for scientists in the area. We have a lot of scientists in the D.C. area, a lot of people that are involved in science and technology, and to give them an outlet. We've had people from Goddard come over and talk about science, about space telescope and other such things. And it gives them a chance to talk about something that they're very passionate about, and then it gives our community a chance to come in and listen to them, and it's a very, very successful program. It's not for children. It's really not for kids. Sometimes high school kids come by and get something out of it, but it's mainly, we have other scientists come in. A lot of people from other disciplines, like you'll have biologists in there talking to the space scientists, and it's a very intriguing activity.
Now, what are the other programs that you offer?
Well, we're big into robotics. I'm in charge of a number of robotics programs that we run. We do camps during the summer, and we teach kids about robots, how to build robots, and how to compete with them. And then in the school year, we support teams that get involved in robotic competitions, such as the first Lego League Robotics or Bot Ball or other robotic competitions. Rocketry also, we look at Team America Rocketry Challenge, and so we get kids involved in that. And that's one of our major programs. Another program we have is explorations, where we go out to various places and science and engineering places that you might not otherwise go to. We sponsor these trips, and we take people along. We just came back from a trip on the Chesapeake, on the Skipjack, where they looked at dredgings and oysters, recovery programs and things like that. Before that, we went to the Rockville Waterworks to see how the water is being filtered and taken care of in our community. And these were originally set to be for seniors, but we took the senior word out of it. Just anybody can come, but we do go usually during the day when it's not practical for high school or for kids, and not practical for people that have a job during the day. So, although sometimes we get people there, we do something on weekends too. We have a tour over at a geology tour that we do over at at the Great Falls
Okay.
in that area. And our final program is one of exhibits, and I think that's where you met us, down at the exhibit down at the USA Science and Engineering Festival.
Yes.
We do a lot of exhibits. We have a premier exhibit is called Rockville Science Day.
Okay.
It's at Montgomery College, and it's coming up April 28th, and it's open to everyone. It doesn't cost anything. Doesn't even cost anything to exhibit there. We get the college to participate with us, and we're striking up partnerships with colleges and other organizations. Montgomery College is one of our partners, and they do Science Day. But we were also partnered with the universities at Shady Grove, which is another organization close to Rockville. And they're gonna help us with a robotics tournament coming up in January, and they're also going to help us with a teen cafe, where a group of college kids are working to set up a cafe, much like our science cafe, but it's really for high school kids. So we're trying to get the college community to host programs for the high school community, and that way, provide some flow of ideas and interests between the two communities, and it looks like it's going to be a really powerful program.
Now, in terms of last word, how can individuals learn more about your program?
Well, you can go to our website and go to all those things, and I think you're going to display the information on that. Contact me, contact any one of the people that are running the programs. We are always looking for people to participate, but we are also looking for people to take on programs. We have a couple people that are approaching us, and they would like to do these programs, and we're going to pull them in and put them under our banner and give them some support in order to get their program. There's science, like one is a flight school. Somebody wants to teach how to fly airplanes, and we're thinking this would be a cool thing to do.
And we'd like to thank Mr. Eggman from the Rockville Science Center for joining us, and we'll be back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Harry Washington. And remember, this is our countdown show to the Career Choice event on Saturday, October the 4th at Morgan State University. But we also have a special guest from Baltimore, and that's Miss Deborah Phelps with the Baltimore County Public Schools Education Foundation. I'm sorry, I almost stumbled on that. Ms. Phelps, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Now, how long has the Education Foundation been in existence?
The Education Foundation for Baltimore County Public Schools has been in existence almost 20 years. It started in October 1992. So even though we've been around for nearly 2 decades, we look at ourselves as still in the infancy stage. And I say that because I am the first director of this foundation. So it's very exciting for me to be able to take an existing foundation that supports our children and be able to lead a board of directors in order to impact public education and everything we want to do for our children.
Now, also part of your background, Ms. Phelps, is being a former principal, educator as well. Am I right?
Absolutely. You know, I've been in education for nearly 40 years. And that's been from a classroom teacher to an administrator in a schoolhouse to central office to opening a school in 2006, Windsor Mill Middle School, as a principal. And so I have a long line of education and being around mostly middle school children.
And helping.
Loving it and helping them, absolutely, supporting them, believing in them, showing them the direction that is the right direction for them to go. You know, implementing and putting into place programs where they can gravitate to and they enjoy, and to want to come to school each and every day. And that's important for our children.
Now, what's the purpose of the Education Foundation?
The purpose of the Education Foundation is to be able to raise money, to be able to provide additional support to our schools. Now, being in public education, we know that every school is given a budget. And the budget that is given to a principal in a schoolhouse is never enough. We always want more money to do more projects that's going to impact children. So the Education Foundation is a 501c3, and we raise money through restricted and unrestricted dollars to be able to support schools. Now, I say unrestricted where we have businesses and community partners, donors who will donate money that will go towards things such as our instructional, our instructional initiative grants.
Okay.
Which over the past 2 years we have given probably 15, 16 schools at least $2,000 apiece.
Right.
We want to double that.
Right.
We want to be able to support our principals and our teachers and our children to be able to give them money that's going to take programs that exist and enhance them.
Right.
Or to take programs that they're thinking up that are very innovative that's going to impact their academic performance.
Now, when I go to your website, I saw a list of accomplishments from this program. Can you tell our viewers just some of those accomplishments?
In looking at our website, there's 20 years of history on that website,
Right,
absolutely. But as the brand new director, I have gone back into the archives and looked at, first of all, the types of projects that we have for our students, the money we've been able to give them and to support our schools. Also looking at the number, the double digits in scholarships that we are able to create and have going. We want to make sure that our children across the state of Maryland, across our country, have money to be able to go to trade schools, 2-year schools, 4-year schools. So we want to increase our scholarship money. We want to increase our what we call unrestricted funds so we can give to schools to be able to utilize the way they feel they need to support their children.
Now, I mean, you said a lot of wonderful things about this program. Where does it receive its funding from?
The community.
Excellent.
And private donors.
Okay.
People who believe in education.
Okay.
Public schools cannot do everything themselves.
Virtual.
And we need, first of all, to make sure that we have our community schools that are supported by our parents and our businesses. You know, having advisory boards in our school of the business partners that surround their schools, and to be able to get the support from them that's going to again, enhance the delivery of instruction for our kids, to enhance their performance as young adults. So it comes from the private donors and from community and business partners.
Now, is this the Education Foundation, is this the first of its kind? Because, I mean, I can venture that I look throughout the Maryland public school system, and I've never seen anything like this.
Well, I am finding, I've only been on this job for about 4 weeks, and I've done a lot of research, and I have found some partners in neighboring school systems that are directors of foundations. So they are out there. In fact, we are looking to form a regional coalition of the directors in Maryland who chair or oversee these foundations to be able to grow, to be able to network, to find out, and to pick each other's brains to see where we can take the foundation in our school system.
Now, final words, tell the viewers some of your current initiatives that you have.
Well, we are going to be showcasing some of our initiatives from last year. And when you take a look at the grants that we issued to our schools last year, they centered around financial literacy, important, science, technology, engineering and math, great initiatives that we need in our schoolhouses, financial literacy, culture, the music and the arts, being able to partner with places like the BSO and having children to be involved with that. So those are some of, and Green School, I can't forget that. We have the Green School initiatives, making children understand the importance of recycling and reusing and reducing. So those are just a few of the projects that we were able to have. You know, Dundalk Middle School, the whole feeder pattern came together, elementary, middle, and high school, and did an art showcase, a music showcase. 1,800 people came out.
Excellent.
And that's, you know, that's great. In Brandlestown, under the direction of Lois Stokes, being able to have elementary school kids save bottle caps. And the importance of recycling bottle caps. And they have taken their schoolhouse walls and created these murals out of bottle caps.
Excellent.
So $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000 can go a long way in schoolhouses because we have some great leaders in our schools.
Excellent. That's our show. We'd like to thank all of our guests. Remember, to learn more about their programs, visit their websites, but also you can find our contact information at the end of the segment. Remember, this is our countdown to the Career Choice program, which is going to be on Saturday, October the 4th at Morgan State University. So we hope to see you there. With that being said, thank you, everyone.